What is up, guys? Welcome back to another walking on water tutorial here in my garage. Today we are talking about the Super Bowl of Chinook salmon fishing, and that is Astoria, the Lower Columbia, for fall Chinook. And it is August 1st, and so we need to go over right now and discuss the 3 best setups that are gonna get you guys on some of these giant Super Bowl winning fall freaking Chinook. Let's get after it. All right, guys. First things first, again, really quick rundown of the rod, the reel, the line, the terminal stuff. Okuma cold water, I love Okuma reels. The low pro reels with the line counters on them as well are absolutely amazing. They just fit in your hand so well, and just a perfect reel to reel in, honestly, any fish that you could possibly fish for. So Okuma, this one's particularly a cold water. It's not the low pro, but the low pro ones are super sick as well, okay? And these are big fish we're talking down here on the Lower Columbia and in Astoria. And so you're gonna want a medium heavy action rod, if not a heavy action rod, 40-pound plus fish down there. A lot of the times, guys, really big fish, paired with a 50-pound braid. And then up to the business end of it right here is I always run a VIP line lock slider for my weight system, and then as well as an Oregon tackle scent tube, and that is the whole entire setup for the rod and reel. All right, guys, first things first, this is oceanic tidal water, okay, down at Astoria. It's feeding in straight from the ocean, and you have tides to think about and consider. And so make sure when you guys are out there on the water, you're checking your tidal charts and seeing what time you got incoming and outgoing flows, okay? Second of all, we're down there in that tidal water running 360 flashers, and my go-tos are always short buzz 360 flashers. Pro Trolls work great too, for sure, but I have found a lot of my success on these amazing short buzz flashers, just like these ones right here. These 2 that I have in my hand I'm actually gonna put to work up on the Upper Columbia here in just a week's time, and I can't freaking wait. And then after that, we're headed down south so we can get onto some of these big freaking Super Bowl winning fall Chinook. Okay, so 360 flashers. We'll talk about leader lengths and stuff like that here in a second, but you are gonna be running 360 flashers. The color variations obviously is up to you, but these are 2 of my favorite, electric pole dancer and full throttle by short buzz, so check these ones out. Now that we got the terminal tackle out of the way, let's get right into these 3 setups. They're gonna help you guys catch a lot more of these big Chinook salmon down in Astoria in the Lower Columbia this fall. First setup, I have a double non-slip mooching rig. Super simple to tie up. If you want to learn how to tie this up, go over to my channel, Walking on Water, and you will find the video how to tie a non-slip mooching rig. It's super simple, super easy. And a lot of people are gonna ask me, well, I like to run treble hooks, I like to run treble hooks. Yes, you can 100% run a treble hook. I would suggest a size 4 treble hook, but for me personally, even for these big fall Chinook, I like to run a smaller hook profile and a double non-slip mooching rig, and these are 2 Octopus size 1 Gamakatsu hooks. Mustads are my other go-to, but on this particular rig, I got size 1 Gamakatsu Octopus hooks, okay? And this is just a single double hook setup, super easy to tie up, and honestly, every time they short strike, I end up getting linked up versus having that treble a little bit closer to the top there, and it short strikes and I miss them. So, and also, once these hooks get buried into the fish's mouth, if you hit this fish in the corner of the mouth with these individual single side washes, it's not coming out. Those trebles, so they can spin and roll, and a lot of times and sometimes they do end up popping out. But it's personal preference for me, and I'm sure it is for you. That's just my opinion on it. You can do what you want to do with the size and the kind of hooks that you want to set up on your rigs. Okay, now we're gonna go into 1 bead. We're gonna drop 1 bead down the line just like so, and then we're gonna drop 2 beads down the line just like so. Then we're gonna grab a Hoochie. This one in particular is a Walking on Water hybrid Hoochie that I tie up myself, and we're gonna slide that down the line just like so, okay? Then we're gonna grab another bead just like that, slide it down, and another bead just like that, slide it down. We're gonna grab a spinner blade, a 3.5 Simon is what I like to use, and then also an inline spinner clevis that it's riding on. And this is our first setup, guys. This is a Hoochie Spinner for fall Chinook salmon, and this is an absolute killer. Especially you rub a little scent on the tip of that head of the Hoochie or on the backside of your blade, or you just use the Oregon scent tubes that come with a bead chain in it, and you just run an inline. And these are absolute killers in that tidal water, guys, down at Astoria and on the lower Columbia. Heck, even on the upper Columbia, I'm gonna be running these here in just a short amount of time to catch some of these summer Chinook up top. So this is one setup that you guys are not gonna wanna miss out on. Again, I like to run my leaders about a 34-inch leader on the spinners behind the 11-inch short buzz flashers, just like this, okay? So we got a 34-inch leader, our short buzz flasher up top, down to the fall Chinook spinner, walking on water hybrid Hoochie Spinner, just like this, okay? Then we're gonna run another 34-inch leader, and we are gonna drop 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 beads. I like to match my beads to my flasher blade, and the flasher blade that I'm running obviously is pink and chartreuse. Straight chartreuse is absolutely a killer, and I found a lot of success in the pink and chartreuse as well, okay? Then we got another Oregon tackle inline spinner blade clevis into our pink and chartreuse Simon 3.5. And this setup right here is just an inline spinner used on the upper Columbia and as well used for big fall Chinook all throughout Astoria, as well as up and down the Columbia River. But why do I use inline spinners versus the actual terminal tackle spinners? First of all, I can make these spinners myself for pennies on the dollar versus $6 spinner you're gonna buy in the package. And honestly, after dialing in color variations, my inline spinners, just like this, and a lot of people that do run inline spinners, a lot of guides that do, find a ton of success just simply because they're tying them up themselves. They know exactly what the fish are looking for in the areas that they're fishing. And so a lot of time and energy has been in by a lot of different people into the inline spinner. And that's why I feel like inline spinners fish just as good, if not better, than the actual wire terminal tackle spinners that you're gonna buy in a package. So this is not only another setup, this is another killer setup that you guys are definitely gonna wanna use down in Astoria and on the lower Columbia and all throughout the Columbia for these big old fall Chinook. All right, guys, last but not least, one of the most used and biggest setups. I mean, I remember using these kind of setups back in the day when I was a kid, and they have definitely evolved from when I was a kid to now. It's crazy because I used to sit on the boat and watch my Uncle Brad bait thread herring and anchovies, and now honestly bait threading bait is realistically kind of a thing of the past. So that brings me into my third and final go-to setup for Astoria and the lower Columbia for these big Super Bowl winning fall Chinook salmon, and that is a herring mooching rig with a helmet above it. And the helmet is actually the evolution of fishing herring or anchovies for Chinook salmon. It used to be where you bait threaded it, you bait thread the herring or anchovy, and you suck it down tight with the line, and that's what gives you your spin in the water. Now they have these quick spin crippled herring helmets, and they also have the quick spin crippled anchovy helmets, which honestly, guys, little wink wink, anchovies and tidal water, absolutely a must go to. They have a smaller profile in the water, and the Chinook just can't get enough of them. This one is a helmeted herring setup. As you can see, the helmet is a little bit bigger, and the hook setup that we have below here, I like to run a little bit bigger hook above my stinger hook, which I call this the trail hook here a stinger hook. And so I have about 4 fingers width distance, because you gotta think of how big an anchovy or a herring is. You want this hook right at the tip of its tail, so when it's spinning in the water, that fish can just come up and bite it, okay? So now the first hook is a little bit bigger, and so I have a little bit bigger first hook so I can get that good hook set through the side of that herring or that anchovy, so I know it's not gonna go anywhere. These little stinger hooks, great for hooking up with big fish, not so great for sticking all the way through the side of a bait. So that's how I set up my hooks. Again, non-slip mooching rig. If you wanna learn how to tie this up, super simple, super easy, go over to the channel and watch that video. Step-by-step guide. So, up to our helmet, you just thread the helmet through the eye on the helmet itself, run it down the line, Make sure you have your pin, put the herring inside the helmet or the anchovy, pin it through the eye, suck it down, get your perfect roll. But with these setups, the leader length that you're gonna wanna run is a little bit longer than your spinners or your Hoochie Spinners. You're gonna actually wanna run anywhere from about a 40 to a 60-inch leader on these behind your 11-inch Pro Troll flashers like this short bus one right here, okay? And so, again guys, these are the 3 best fall Chinook salmon setups that you guys are definitely gonna wanna implement when you're out there on the water. I know everybody has their tried and true techniques, but it's always good to branch out and be a little bit versatile so you can start eliminating some of the variables that are keeping you from catching some of these giant fish when you're out there on the water. Make every moment count out there on the waters to be successful. This was another Walking on Water tutorial. I hope you guys go out and absolutely destroy the fish this year. I can't wait to see you guys out there. It's gonna be good to see some of your ugly faces again. Tight lines, this is Walking on Water. I'll see you in the next one.